Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining our second community meeting of the year. This will be the last time that I'll put the snow emoji on the screen, so I hope that you enjoy it. And as always, we're going to record the meeting in case that you want to share it later with your colleagues. We are going to upload everything into YouTube. And if this is the first time that you're joining us here, this is the best way that you can actually keep in touch with the community, uh, dig a bit deeper onto all of these great features that the community is actually developing, and when you can have also some highlights about the new things that we're going to build into the next releases and whatnot. So make sure that if you like these sessions, you are also going to share them with your colleagues and join us into the next one. It's always awesome to see such an international audience. So thanks again for coming and hope that you enjoy it. In the agenda today, we'll start with the community updates and metrics, make sure that everything is going nice and smooth in the community. We have also today an awesome data quality webinar from Teddy. He's one of the experts in the tool. He has been working in the data quality features of Open Metadata for years now. So actually one of the top voices for you to see and learn and understand everything that is possible for you to achieve in the data quality world thanks to Open Metadata and Collate. And we'll try to make sure that we have some more time at the end for some nice Q&A about everything and anything that Ted is going to show you. In terms of metrics, I'm super happy because actually this time we are breaking a lot of milestones. We are up on 300 open source developers, more than 6,000 stars, more than 8,000 community members in Slack, and then even more people that are following us. So do not miss any events in Twitter and in the meetup group. If you haven't done that, you can go to GitHub. I'm going to share the link as well later on so that you can start that. And this is actually the best way that you can help us spread the word on the project. And if you haven't joined Slack yet, that's actually the best channel for you to be in touch with anyone using Open Metadata today to ask any questions. We have a great support channel, and we try to go over absolutely everything to make sure that you can go from zero to hero in Open Metadata, go through your POC, make sure that you can get into production, ask any feature requests, and basically just be in touch, keep the project alive, and help each other into succeeding by using Open Metadata together. In terms of metrics, we are a busy community. We have a lot of busy teams that are actually working nonstop into making Open Metadata better. So as you can see, more than 230 PRs merged only on the last 4 weeks, and more than 100 support posts and almost 150 support posts that are coming every week. So again, if you're not yet in Slack, that's the best way for you to actually get help. And if you are already a pro, if you're a veteran and you know some of the answers to the questions that people are asking, feel free to chip in, feel free to raise your hand. We would be more than happy for anyone and everyone to keep interacting and having a good time around the community. In terms of the kinds of questions, as you can see, most of them were able to resolve. Then in case that there are some bugs, that there are some any specific feature requests, we will keep doing these minor releases so that we can keep gathering all of your feedback, making sure that all of these issues are actually being solved. So feel free to raise your hand and don't be shy in case that you are actually finding something and you have the will to start contributing into the open source. We also have a contributors channel that you can use, and we are more than happy to give you some help, give you some guidance into getting started contributing into Open Metadata. And finally, here in the overall posts that we are getting per month, as you can see, after the dump on Christmas, we are back in track with this growth in January, and we're actually expecting even higher numbers for February. And finally, many thanks to, I think this is the biggest number that we've had so far into community contributions, 17 people that took the time into checking the code, figuring out the issues, and shipping a solution to the platform. So many thanks to all of you for the effort. Many thanks for the time. Again, we have this contributors channel. So if you would like also to see your name into this Hall of Fame of Open Metadata contributors, feel free to chip in. We are more than happy to guide you there. And that being said, I'm going to pass the word to Teddy, and we can just dig directly into this webinar into data quality. So thank you, folks. And Teddy, the floor is yours.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Bear, for the introduction. So let me share my screen with you. All right, perfect. So you should be able to see my screen now. So as Perry mentioned, we are going to focus that webinar on the data quality functionalities inside Collate. So maybe it's your first webinar with us. Maybe you've been here since the beginning. So we thought it would be great before we go and dive into the demo to have a quick recap of what Collate provides out of the box and what we have been building throughout those many releases, right? So if you've used OpenMetadata or Collate since the beginning, you've seen the evolution of the data quality tool inside the software. But today, when you are starting your journey, your data quality journey, your metadata journey with Collate, you'll be able to run natively data quality inside the tool. You'll be able to have access to descriptive statistic metric directly inside the tool, integrate your existing observability tools such as dbt or Great Expectation or whatever custom tool you may be using directly with Collate. And also, after you have all of the observability integration made, that you are tracking the quality and the metrics of your data, you are also able to actively manage ongoing incidents happening inside the platform, have access to real-time notifications so that whenever there are issues or anomalies that are happening within your data, you are directly alerted inside the channels that best work and fit your organization. And in terms of access to observability, we have a lot of native test cases that will be going over that provides some critical monitoring for your data, right? So such as freshness, how fresh are your data, right? Can we make sure that the data that I am using for my reports and whatnot are the most recent one? Integrity tests, right? I'm doing some transformation between source and destination. Am I sure that all of the information that was in my source are now also present inside my destination? And we've been adding throughout the releases a lot of AI-powered functionality inside the tool, such as anomaly detection, incident classification, and also an entire section around that is closely tied to the observability around classification of your data based on specific signals that we are seeing inside the tool, right? So enough for the slide. The best next course is going to be go through the platform and navigate all of these elements that we have seen inside the slide so that you can have a sense of how does this looks and how is this translated inside the platform, right? So if you're familiar with Collate, you know that at the core of Collate is a knowledge graph of your data where we are capturing different signals that are emitted either directly through the platform or from the service that you are integrating, right? And from that knowledge graph, we have access and information to your metadata and to the structure of your tables of your data that exist inside Collate, right? So for example, if I go to my customers table, that lives inside my Redshift service, which I have integrated with Collate. I have access to different information about my tables, such as what column exists inside my service, what are the data type, what is the structure of my table. And that's a critical component of Collate that allows us to power our observability tool, and that makes a difference with what you may have with other tools, right? Because we have access to some context and some information about your service. And that allows us to build a solution that provide real value based on the usage and the information and how your service exists and is structured inside your organization, right? So once we have ingested our metadata for our service, we can start our observability journey by going to the data observability tab, right? So if I click on the data observability tab, I can see different information. Of course, here I have already ingested and created data quality tests. So I have access to that overview panel that will help me understand what is the health status of this table as a data consumer, right? So I can see and have access to that information quickly and quickly understand how reliable, how much can I trust the data and the information that is inside my table, right? Of course, if I want to add data quality test, I can simply navigate to the Add Test tab, then pick the type of test case that I want to do, right? Do I want to perform a table or a column level test, right? We have a different set of natively integrated data quality tests that exist and that are shipped natively with Collate. And so if I click on the table test cases, then I will have access to a different set and different type of test cases inside my tool, right? Three of the most popular test cases that we are seeing used by user is the custom SQL query test that allows you to develop and write any kind of SQL power type of test cases. And of course, we have our DataDiff comparison test case that allows us to understand the integrity and the integrity by comparing two different tables inside my tool, right? So if I have, for example, a source in a Snowflake database that then gets transformed and loaded into some other services or still inside Snowflake, then I have that ability to say I want to compare my table right here. So the customer's table that lives right here, maybe with my staging customer, right? And then I can decide, do I want to have a full comparison of the two data sets, or do I just want to make sure that my first names and my last names are both matching in each data set, right? Making sure that during the ETL process, during the transformation, my source and my destination still remains the same, and I have preserved integrity between those two data sources, right? So with Collate, you have that ability to natively check that critical part of your ETL process, right? Similarly, another data quality test that we see that is very useful for our users across different organizations is to understand how fresh is my table, right? So oftentimes we want to make sure that whenever we're consuming data or that data are being fed into dashboard, that we are providing the most recent and the most fresh data to my data consumer, right? And we want to have that verification made early so that we don't get informed by people using those dashboards, but that we can proactively monitor that type of elements, right? And so with Collate, you can natively provide that kind of test. You can simply pick that data quality test, then select the column that makes the most sense for you to verify. So for example, here it can be the most recent order. Then time since update will simply be how long in the past should I be looking at, right? So maybe I want to make sure that I'm looking at 1 day worth of data, and then I can simply save that test and have my test being executed and get informed and alerted wherever it makes the most sense for me inside the organization, right? So if I go back to the observability tab, right, we can already see how easy and simple it is to start your data observability journey with Collate, right? And so that element of creating data quality test at the table level will also exist at the column level, and we have the same simplicity to do it. Now, one element that we often see is we can easily start our data quality journey, but to make sure that my data quality test makes the most sense, it can sometimes be a bit difficult because I need to have deep knowledge of the data set and the structure of the data, right? And with Collate, as of 1.6, the version that we are providing today, we have two ways to go about minimizing the efforts that it requires for you to get started in that journey, right? So the first approach, and you'll see this out with different data quality tests posted across the platform, is our anomaly detection tool, right? So our anomaly detection tool uses our in-house AI model to analyze the structure of your data set and alert you on any anomalies that we may see happening inside your dataset dynamically without you having to set some hard bounds and having to either modify that or changes as your data set may evolve, right? And to perform that anomaly detection, it's as easy as what we've seen so far. You simply, so here we're going with a column level type of example. You simply pick the column on which or the table on which you want to perform your data quality test. You select the test type. So here, maybe I want to make sure that, for example, my column values are between a specific bound, right? And here we'll have two options, right? So we can either set hard bound, so minimum or maximum data, or I can simply select the anomaly detection component of the platform, so that we'll have dynamically asserted test case results, and you won't have to worry about changing the bound or making sure am I setting the correct bound for my data set, and that will allow you to be able to achieve data quality at scale in a faster way, right? Okay, so far what we've seen how we can get started with our data quality journey inside Collate, right? We can easily set data quality test inside the platform. We've seen different type of test cases where we can actually check for integrity, check for freshness. We can lower the cognitive load that may exist when starting our data quality journey by using our AI-powered anomaly detection functionality. Now, what we can also achieve as a first step when we are starting our observability journey inside Collate is to get an understanding of the structure of our data, right? So oftentimes for a lot of analytical or data scientist project, we want to have an understanding of the shape of the data, right? What type of data am I working with? What is the structure of my data inside my table, right? And with Collate, getting that information is very easy, right? It's one click to set up the workflow ingestion. So if you're familiar with OpenMetadata, that's something that is very familiar, where in your service you will then set your ingestion workflow. And once you have set up your profiler ingestion workflow, then you will get access to descriptive statistic for your table, right? And so that descriptive statistic is located under the data observability tab. And we have two type of level that are available directly inside the platform, right? So if I navigate to my table profile, I have an overview across a time series a time series graph of the evolution of the structure of my table, right? So here I can see this table has 100 rows, 100 rows for the past 7 days, but I can look at historically how this has evolved, right? I can see that on February 9th, that number of row increased, but then it decreased back on February 16th, right? And then if I scroll down, I can also see the type of operations that have happened during that time, right? So I can see I had some inserts that happen over that time period that change the row count. And then finally, if there are any type of custom metrics that one wants to track, we have that ability as a user to go in the platform and define our own custom metrics. And custom metrics are simply Scholar queries that are going to return a single value on execution. And that allows you to extend the type of information that are natively provided by the system to include metrics that are important for your use case and for your organization, and to integrate them natively with the tool that your user are going to use and reference across your organization. Now, if we navigate to the column profile, then we'll have a similar view, but with a breakdown at the column level, right? So we'll have an overview of the type of data that we are working with and the structure of my data across different dimensions, null count, uniqueness, distinct, etc., etc. And then if I click on a specific column, then I'll be able to have a more detailed view of the information and the structure of my data, similarly broken down across different dimensions. So think about count, proportion, date range, data aggregation. If we have access to quartile and distribution, we'll also show you that information. And so, for example, if I'm checking the number of orders that have been passed in the, over time, then I can see the data distribution across the frequency of occurrence of certain specific values, right? And we can have the skew that will be helpful for any type of analytical or data scientist job that your organization may need to perform, right? And you can think about it as providing tremendous value for your organization, because that's time saved by a big chunk of your team not having to research and perform all of these queries and pre-work before being able to actually work on delivering the action that's needed across their team. And you can also think about it as saving money, right? Because those are queries that your teams won't have to run against your service. So that will be money saved for your organization as well. All right, awesome. So far what we've seen, right? We've seen how we can get started with our data quality journey by simply and easily defining data quality test inside Collate, simply through the UI with a few clicks, and similarly gaining access to the underlying structure of our data sets inside our organization, right? So that's great. But once we have defined our data quality test, how do we make sure that we can easily keep track of the performance, the success, the failure, and making sure that we have a way to be alerted and to track that information, right? So as we've seen earlier, we'll have access in the overview tab to a bunch of quick overview organized around across different dimensions, right? So first, when I'm landing on a table inside Collate, I have an indicator at the top that will tell me if that table has any type of ongoing incident, right? So as a data consumer, I can already be informed that there may be some ongoing issues with that specific table that I need to be careful of, right? And by clicking on that button, I will simply be redirected to the screen I am on right now, right? So from here, I'll be able to have a quick understanding of test case failure, incidents that are open, or any upstream failures, right? So you can think about it as maybe I have that customer table that uses data from an upstream table. So think about it as a staging customer table, maybe. And maybe that customer table has 0 tests that are assigned to it, right? But if staging customer has some failure, I'll still be informed that some issues are going on with tables that are feeding into this table so that I can be alerted and be aware that maybe I should take the information that I'm getting out of that customer's table with a grain of salt, right? So here I'm able to have an overview of the state of my table. I can also see the information broken down across specific dimensions, right? So here I can see that accuracy tests are all passing as expected, but all of the other dimension tests are all have some type of failure. So I can explain all of the categories and do a quick check of which test cases are causing issue and creating some failures, right? So for example, I can see that my table freshness test has been failing on each execution for the day, right? So I can simply click on that test case, and that will redirect me to a dedicated view of the data quality test performance across a timeline, so that I can see how this test has been evolving over time, right? So I can see that my test has the specification that my table the latest timestamp inside my table should not be older than 3 hours ago, right? But I can see that throughout the past week, the past 30 days, this has not been met. That condition has not been met, right? I can see that freshness has been 4 hours for a long time. And then for some reason, on February 17th, it has spiked to 2 days and 12 hours, right? So I can already see that I have some issue going on with my data freshness inside my table, and that recently that issue has become even more critical, right? So from here, what I can do, I can go back to my customers table. I can navigate to the lineage where I have an understanding of what is the flow of data inside my organization, right? So here I can see that data are being fed across different dimensions, right? And I can also see that I have 2 pipelines that have been running, bringing data from Databricks to my customers table, right? And by simply clicking on that information, I can navigate to my pipeline directly that exists inside Collate and try to see if there were any execution issue with that pipeline. And of course, we provide a link to direct you to that pipeline. So the idea here is that from those simple information and that knowledge graph that you have access to inside Collect, you are able to have a faster resolution to the root cause issue that may create some data quality issue with your data. Right? The idea is to provide you with the tools and the information that will allow you to find resolution as fast as possible, right? And we'll have that information and that dedicated data quality test for all of the tests that are available inside Collate, right? So similarly, if we have a test case that is failing, for example, here we have a column level test case, we'll be providing a set of sample rows showing you the conditions that is not met, right? So here we have our number of order test cases, right? And we can see that we have a lot of rows that have no values for the number of orders, and our condition is not met. And we have that information that will be shown and will be available directly inside Collate, right? And to go a bit further, you can click on Explore with Query, and here we will give you access to the query that was used to generate those rows, so that you can simply copy it and continue the exploration directly in your system, right? In feature release, we'll make it available for you to directly run that query inside the tool, so that you don't have to jump between different screens, but you can fully do the root cause analysis directly from Collate and have a resolution available as fast as possible. All right, awesome. So let's do a quick recap of what we have seen so far. So I'll go back to our customers table. So far what we have seen that with Collate, you have the ability to quickly and easily start your data quality journey by natively defining data quality tests directly inside the platform, but also using our SQL query test that allows you to basically create unlimited type of test cases. We've seen the ability with Collate to have access to the structure of your underlying data with the descriptive statistic natively integrated inside Collate. We've also seen the ability with the AI-powered anomaly detection to get a easier start to your data quality journey, reducing the need to have a deep understanding of the structure of the data, what should be the max bound, the min bound, and having to actively manage those elements, but to rely on our in-house model that will check for any anomalies that exist inside your tool. And then we've seen the ability for data consumer to come to Collate, get the information that they need when it comes to knowing if they can trust the data asset that they are working with so far. Okay. So the next element that we are going to cover is how can I be proactively alerted and informed of issues that are ongoing with my data asset, right? I don't necessarily want to always have to come to the tool to be informed and to check issues that may be happening with Collate, right? So with Collate, similarly to the data quality, the profiler, the flow of data, everything is integrated, and you have the ability to natively define these alerts directly from the tool. To perform that, very simple, just a few clicks, similarly to what we've seen so far. So you'll navigate to the Observability tab, select Alerts. Here you can add a new alert. You can name the alerts however you want. And in the source part, you have that ability to check different dimensions, right? The basic one will be to check for our test case or test suite failures, right? So test suite are simply an aggregation of different test cases that we have defined. So for example, if I want to get alerted on failures of my customers table, I will simply select my customers test suite table that was defined right here. And then as a trigger, I can simply select failure, right? And now on any type of failures happening for a test case inside my customers table, then I will receive an alert in the system that I have selected, right? In terms of destination, we have a multitude of destination. So you can send it to your MS Teams, Slack, email. You can also link it with the information that we have inside Collate. So maybe you want to send the alert to all the owners of the tables, right? So here you will simply select the owners and then select the best destination to send to those owners. And of course, we have our webhook integration that will allow you to then dispatch that alert to any type of webhook and then do the processing that works best for you. So let me share you. I've set up earlier an alert for exactly the customer table. So right here, and we can see. Sorry, I've set it up right here. And we can see a summary of the kind of events that have happened, right? So here we can see we've had 6 events that have happened in the past hour, and we can check if that alert is successfully being delivered to our destination. So let me switch screen for a second to show you what an alert will look like. All right. Perfect. So can you see my screen? Yep.
Yep.
All right, perfect. So here you can see that I've set up an email alert and that I have received so far 6 emails, right? And those emails keep me informed that something has happened against specific test cases inside my table, right? We provide a link so that you can directly be redirected to the test case that fails and have access to that suite of information that we have seen previously. So I've clicked on that link. Let me go back to my screen. Right, so clicking on that link will then direct me to that to that test case, informing me that some issues have happened, so I can check at a lower range, and I can see that the parameter that were defined in my test case have failed, right? And similarly, you can get that alert directly to your Slack channel, to your MS team, so that you have a quick access to test case failure, and that you don't necessarily have to proactively go to the platform and check for alert, but you can rely on the alerting system to keep you informed on the state of your data. All right, awesome. So far we've seen defining natively integration with Collate for data quality, profiler, descriptive statistics, being able to stay informed using our alerting system. And our final step here in our journey is getting an overview of how is my data quality performing across the entire platform, right? And in 1.6, we have shipped our suite of data quality dashboard that allows you to keep the pulse of how is your data quality performing overall across your entire organization, right? So we provide a default system dashboard that will give you information that are the most relevant in terms of data quality health. So those dashboards are accessible in the Observability tab under data quality. And of course, you'll have different information. So at the top, you'll be able to see what is your data asset coverage, right? So here we see we have a fairly low coverage when it comes to our data asset, right? We're only covering 20 data assets over the 6,000 data assets that we have. Then you'll be able to see out of those 21 that are covered, what is my percentage of healthy asset. And then I'll be able to see overall at the test case level, what is the number of test cases that are passing successful and what is the number that are failing, right? And then if I scroll down, I have that similar information, but broken down by dimension, accuracy, completeness, consistency, and whatnot. And then I'll have a historical view of the trend for each of the categories. So success, aborted, failed. And I'll also have information about how are my incidents that are open inside Collate being managed, right? The idea being we want to make sure that we have a response time that is fairly low, right? So response time, you can think about it as that incident has been acknowledged by a person. And then similarly, a resolution time that is fairly low. Resolution time, you can think about it as I have an incident that has been open, and that incident has then been resolved, right? So you'll have access to that information natively inside Collate. But of course, we understand that certain organizations want to track specific metric. So in the Insight tool in 1.6, we've introduced the ability for users to create their own data quality dashboard, right? So to perform that action, you'll simply need to add your own dashboard. You can add description, ownerships, and link them to a domain. And then when you go to create a new chart, you'll have some metrics available for test case resolution, right? So test case resolution, you can think about those as incidents. And then you'll have information about test case results, right? So that you can then combine dimensions and metric that will best fit the type of information that you may want to track, right? So we provide the system dashboard that gives you a start, for you to keep track and stay informed about the performance of your data quality. But if you want to go further and customize the type of information available, you can use the Insight functionality and create your own custom dashboard tracking metrics across test case results and data quality. All right, awesome. So those are all the functionalities that are currently available inside Collate and that already allow you to have an end-to-end implementation of your data observability, right? Starting with descriptive statistics, then continuing with data quality test so that you can track failures and the status of your data quality. Then you can set up alerting system on top of these metrics and data quality tests so that you have information that is directly sent to you so that you can quickly act upon it, right? You can manage incidents directly and natively inside the platform. And then at the end of the spectrum, you can track the overall health of your table and the performance of your data quality using our native and system-defined dashboard, but also going further with our data insights. Now, the most interesting is what are we working on for the future and for 1.7 and beyond, right? So we can orient it in we can categorize it across three dimensions, right? I think the most interesting one is around minimizing the effort for users to start their data quality journey, right? What we want to do is for any team size easily start and implement data quality at scale inside the organization, right? So we're working on two very interesting features there. The first one being the ability to create data quality tests using the automators, right? So for those of you that have been using Collate for a long time, we are providing a way to automate elements inside the tool. And in 1.7, will enable you to automate data quality test creation using the automator functionality, allowing you to set up rules to automatically create data quality tests based on condition, right? But we've also decided to go one step further and to introduce our AI-powered test recommendation, right? So we have a lot of information, as we've mentioned earlier, from the knowledge graph that we have inside Collate, right? Having your metadata, having the social signals, having a lot of different elements. And based on that information, we can make smart recommendation using AI so that you have that ability to quickly get recommendation and get started on your data quality journey to implement a data quality test that the model think is the best based on the characteristic that we're seeing across your data set, right? So allowing you to have enhance insight into how can I best test and make sure that I can trust the data that are defined inside my services. So those are two features that we're super excited to ship in 1.7 that we think are going to make a huge difference in terms of value for your team and the ability to quickly scale the data observability inside your organization. When it comes to the two other categories, we want to, of course, extend the monitoring across other services inside your organization so that you don't only track and monitor tables, but that you can also monitor your entire data stack across the transformation journey inside your different pipelines. And then finally, we want to have a big focus on lowering the time that it takes you to resolve ongoing incident, because we understand at Collate that a quickly resolved incident, that is, money that is saved for your team, and that is value that is provided for your data consumer. So those are the exciting features that are coming up in 1.7 and beyond. So we hope that you are as excited as we are with the features that we're providing already today at Collate, and that will be continuing to develop and make available across the tool. Yeah. So that's it for me, and I will give the microphone back to Perry.
Awesome. Thanks, Ted. It was a great presentation. It's always exciting to basically see this full end-to-end, all of this life cycle management on how can we create the test, how do we manage the alerts, how do we see it in the lineage, how do we react to the incident. So it's, as you can see, it's not only about we ingest the metadata, let the tests fail, and that's it. How we can actually make sure that using this platform, we have the right processes in place for you to figure out the best way to bring those tests into resolution and learned from past experiences as well. And as Teddy is saying, we keep a tight and busy backlog. So super excited to see everything and anything that we have in the kitchen cooking. So here you can find all of the rest of the links again for Slack, GitHub, and whatnot. Also, if you would like to dig a bit deeper into what Collate can do for you, you can take a look at our SaaS, including the free tier. And that being said, we still have a few minutes. So if some of you would like to ask any questions about data quality, about anything that Teddy has been showing today, he would be more than happy to answer. I think that Chris is asking if you can go over on how to set up automatic test cases again. Maybe we can just do a summary on that aspect.
Yeah, so that aspect will actually be available in 1.7. So I'll be super happy to show the automated test creation in 1.7. Yeah.
Maybe we can do a demo on the March meetup once we have already
Exactly.
something to
Yeah.
share. Well, thanks, Chris, for the question. More questions. For the record, Chris is saying that, Teddy, you are awesome, but I can't believe that you are making me wait for that.
We're creating some teas and buzz for the March meetup, you know.
Exactly. We also have a question about profiling in Athena. We do support profiling in Athena. We also support data quality in Athena. Basically, any JDBC connection already supports data quality. And even for the data lake sources, we support data quality as well. So if you are trying it with some sources and maybe some queries are not behaving as expected, feel free to follow up with us on Slack and we can try to figure out where we are just need to fine-tune those processes. And yes, there's also quite a few questions about being able to uh, ingest tests externally or export the metadata or whatnot. So maybe a quick recap here. Everything in OpenMetadata is actually based on API. So everything that Teddy was showing you about how you can create the test, send the results, get the results back, and whatnot, all of that is managed via APIs, which means that either you can use the native data quality features. We also have then the automated integrations, both with Great Expectations and DBT, in case that you're using DBT test as well. So we use the API to send and pick up all of these results and send them into OpenMetadata. And even if you have your own in-house system with your own data quality framework and whatnot, you can still then use the rest of the features from open metadata, no? The alerting system, getting the nice results in the UI for people to collaborate, the incident manager and whatnot. So once the test appears in Collate, the rest of the surrounding features are going to be enabled for you. And then maybe Teddy, you can pick this one up. Chris is asking if did you review setting up test suite level pipelines rather than object level test cases?
I think it'd be interesting to get more detail into that question if you can specify it.
And that will be the logical test suite deployments. Right
Okay.
now, table has a internal test suite that we deploy the pipeline at table level, right? We introduce the
Yeah, exactly. So in 1.6, we've introduced the ability to execute test cases that are linked to a test suite that we have defined here. So in a test suite, you can group test cases from different tables. So let me try to find a good example. So for example, this test suite here will have test cases from different type of tables. So here we can see we have our staging order, we have our customers, we have our orders table, right? So you can logically group all of those test cases that belongs to separate tables into one test suite. And then you can go ahead and create a pipeline that will then execute those test cases across those different tables, right? So for example, if you have a table that relies on multiple tables to be created or for the transformation, you can say, you know, run all of these test cases from all of these tables first before we go ahead and apply the transformation. So that was something that had been requested by our users for a few versions. So in 1.6, we made it available so that you can now execute those test cases that belongs to a test suite. So it's not only solely relying on executing and orchestrating those test cases that belongs to a table, but you can now execute the ones that belongs to a test suite. And we can also set up indeed test suite alerts directly on test suite. So you'll get informed of any failures that are happening within that specific test suite. Yeah. And yeah, I think as Perry replied on the thread, but I think it's an important point that any type of columns or tables that will be tagged with PII sensitive data, then will automatically hide the underlying data in the profiler and the data quality if you don't have explicit access to that type of data, so that no data is accidentally leaked through descriptive statistic or data quality testing.
Awesome. Then maybe for closing, we can pick up the question from Colin about any recommended pattern for promoting tests through a series of environments.
Sorry, I'm reading the question. So I'm not entirely sure I understand the flow of the question. So maybe that's something we can pick up offline, Colin, on Slack or other places. Yeah.
I think that this can be a full conversation, so feel free to just
Yeah.
send the question and then we can try to follow up, make sure that we understand everything. Thanks. And yeah, everything that we've discussed here, we're going to upload into YouTube. Give us a couple of days just to go over the recording and the slides and everything. So we are going to then share the links in Slack. So again, if you're not there, one of the best ways for you to keep in touch with the rest of the community and make sure that you're not missing any updates. And that being said, thanks a lot, everyone, for the time. We are today 1 hour sharp. So thank you for coming here. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the attention. Hope that you're enjoying these meetups as much as we do. And we are looking forward to see you all into the March one. Thanks a lot and have a good rest of your day. See you later.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.